Hey, what's up guys, Mashin here, come back with a brand new video for you guys. Today we're going to be talking about the top 10 CSGO knives you can pick up right now for $100 cash. Now the way this video is going to work is I'm going to be going in ascending order, meaning we're going to be starting with the cheapest knives, which are actually under $100 Steam, and working our way up to around $100 cash value. If you're looking to buy the knives, the Steam community market price is going to be up on the screen, and if you're looking for the best deal, make sure you check out today's sponsor, D-Market. The sponsor for today's video is D-Market. Now D-Market is the one-stop shop for CSGO. If you're looking to buy skins, they've got tons of different methods on how you can deposit, and when you're looking at the skins themselves, you just need to sort by best discount or by best deals depending on what you're looking for. Selling on D-Market is the place to be with only a 5% fee that's much lower than the competition, and they've even got an instant sell feature if you need your money immediately, and it's personally the one I use. And when you're looking to cash out, it's super easy and they've got tons of different options. And they've also got their trading feature, which is going to give you a little bit better of a rate than if you were to just sell. Make sure to check out D-Market with the top link in the description, and back to the video. So the first knife we're going to be starting off here with is the Gut Knife Knight. Now the Gut Knife Knight is going to be coming in minimal wear, and it's actually quite reasonable. If you're looking for a cash price, only around $76, which is quite a reasonable price point, but it's not going to be the best float. Might be actually worth it to overpay a little bit for a better float. On screen I've got one that's in factory new, but honestly you're not going to have a huge difference if you're able to get roughly 0.1 or below. Now the reason I went with the Gut Knife Knight here is because it's a really good finish in my opinion. I really like the Knight finish when it's in minimal wear. If you go for field tested, you're going to run into some problems, but overall the Gut Knife itself is a decent knife, but I really like the finish on this one, which is the main reason I went with it. Second on our list is going to be the Falchion Black Laminate, another really nice finish if you can grab it in minimal wear, which is exactly what we're going to be doing. Here I've got it in minimal wear. On screen it looks more factory new, but the thing is, if you try to go for a field tested one for the Falchion knife, and especially for the black laminate finish overall, I think it's going to be a little bit disappointing. And for roughly only $87 cash value, I think this one in the minimal wear condition is going to be a steal. The Falchion knife does have some pretty cool animations. I know not everyone's a fan of it, and for me it's very hit or miss, but I do think it's much better than some of the other cheaper knives like the Navaja and such, even though I will have some options for those. Overall, I like the black laminate, and the Falchion knife is decent enough for a cheap knife in my opinion. Third on the list, we've got the Bowie knife Brightwater. Now this one's a little bit interesting because I'm not the biggest Bowie knife fan. I will be completely honest when I say I don't think this is going to be the best knife on the list for most people. It's $87 cash, and it's one of the cheaper ones on the list. The problem is I just don't like the Bowie knife. I think the Brightwater is a great finish, and honestly a finish that was most likely going to be a little bit more expensive if it didn't have great company and the lure and gamma Dopplers being right next to it. So I think the Brightwater is a little bit of a steal in my opinion for the finish. Problem is the Bowie knife is not personally my favorite, but there's definitely a group of people out there that like it, and therefore it does land a spot on this list even though it's not my favorite. Now fourth on the list is going to be the Huntsman Knight. Now this one, it's going to be sacrificing quite a bit. You're going to be getting a Huntsman knife, which is a little bit more expensive of a knife at the cost of your Knight not looking very good. You can see here that this is a factory new on screen. At best, you're going to be ending up with a lower float field tested one, considering the price point on this is not really that expensive, coming in at around $89. So it's going to be sacrificing a little bit of that quality of the finish in terms of getting a more desirable knife. The Huntsman is not the most desirable, but it does look somewhat decent compared to some of the other knives we've seen, and honestly I think at this price point there is a reasonable decision to make in buying it. Number 5 goes to the Navaja Slaughter. Now the Navaja Slaughter is a very good knife, or at least the finish is. That's the thing, is the Navaja knives you're going to see on this list, they're not crazy expensive coming in for the Slaughter here. It's really not that expensive at $91. Problem is you're getting a Navaja knife, which is the least desirable knife in the game, but it's got one of the most desirable finishes. It's obviously the trade-off that comes with it. In my opinion, for $91, if you want a knife that looks potentially a little bit more expensive than it actually was, I think the Navaja knives, and especially the Slaughter here, because I'm a personally big fan of the Slaughter, it's a good knife, just not really what I would want for the actual knife itself, but the finish is awesome. Breaking into our top 5 here, coming in at number 6, we've got the Shadow Daggers Lore. Now these ones are going to be a lot of hit or miss. Same with the Bowie knife, it's going to be very dependent on what you're looking for. The Lore itself as a finish is absolutely amazing, even though it's going to be field tested, which isn't the most most desirable. For $96, it's a very expensive and desirable finish. Shadow daggers themselves as knives are not the most desirable, obviously, because that's pretty cheap here coming in at $96, but I do still think there is quite a market for it. There's a decent amount of people that enjoy these shadow daggers. I'm personally not a fan, but I can definitely see if you are, why you would want to go with this. Coming in at number 7, we've got the classic knife Scorched. Now the classic knife is not one that I consider super desirable, but it is decently expensive. Coming from the CS20 case, it's not going to be a very expensive knife in the future, especially in that Scorched actual finish. Scorched finish is not the most desirable here, and honestly, in my opinion, there's a lot better knives you could go with. This is basically, if you want a CS20 knife, this is about the best finish you can get. It's coming in really close to that $100, and actually it's going to be only $3 less at $97, so it's going to be very hit or miss. But in my opinion, if you really want a CS20 knife, and especially an OG knife that kind of reminds you of the old days, this is what you gotta go with. Number 8 on the list is the Ursus Urban Mast, and I'll be completely honest in saying that this is my favorite knife on the list. You've got that really cool animation you just saw right there, plus you've got an okay finish. I mean, Urban Mast is not the best finish in the game, but it's more desirable than some of the other ones, and the Ursus knife itself is honestly one of my top 5 knives in the game. I really like the Ursus, I really like the survival, and I think the Ursus is one that actually comes at a decent price point for what you're going to be getting. Overall, I think if you want a really high quality knife that looks like it's at least $150, $200, I think you can get that here with the Ursus Urban Mast, and it's only going to be that $99. Now number 9 is going to be kind of reminding you of what we talked about earlier. We've got the Navaja Marble Fade. Now obviously, like with the Slaughter, it's a really awesome finish on a really bad knife. Now this one I could almost say I would prefer over the Slaughter, and it's honestly only a couple dollars more, coming in at $99. It's a really cool looking knife, and honestly I could reasonably see people thinking you paid a couple $100s for it, because a Marble Fade is a top 3 finish in my opinion. It's one of the best finishes in the game, and it looks absolutely amazing, and for only $99, even though it's a Navaja knife, I still think it's quite a steal. And then finally, we've got the Gut Knife Tiger Tooth coming in at $101. Now it's slightly over the budget, I'm sorry, it broke it by $1, but this knife is too good to pass up on. It's honestly out of this price league. The one of the greatest things about the Gut Knife Tiger Tooth is it's going to be always in factory new condition, because the minimal wear ones are more expensive than the factory new, and the Tiger Tooth itself is a really good finish and looking extremely clean. It's one of the best perks of the Tiger Tooth finish, and the thing is, this one on the Gut Knife is not the most desirable, but you can see when it glistens in the light, it does look extremely good, and in my opinion, it's one that is definitely a top tier knife. But that is really all I have for today, guys. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.